So first up, we have Eric from Honua Resources. Eric, if you want to take the stage, you have 2 minutes and go ahead.
Hey, I got 2 minutes. So thank you, ERA, for having this event. So when you think of CO2 in the atmosphere and global warming, what industry conjures up all this global warming? It's probably the petroleum industry. And that's an industry I used to work in for a number of years, as well as my co-founder. But that industry also has the technical people, the software and data, and billions of dollars of infrastructure. So we're the perfect people to help with the transition to net zero energy. And my company, Honua Resources, Honua means earth in Hawaiian, so earth resources, is a geothermal energy exploration, development, operations company. And what we want to do is go to basins where there used to be thousands of wells that were drilled for $5-10 million each in the US. The basin we're focused on is the Haynesville, which is in Louisiana and Texas. This basin is known as being extremely hot, over 300 degrees. Water boils at 212 degrees. So this seats well over boiling temperature water. We want to use one well to inject cold water down into the depleted reservoir, have it flow and sit there in the reservoir, heat up, and then suck it up with a production well, and then create clean 24/7 baseload geothermal energy at the surface, thousands of wells. This can be done over and over again. And this source of heat is the earth. So it's going to go on as long as Earth remains here. Probably about 5 billion years from now, the sun's going to overtake the Earth in a supernova event. But until then, the Earth's going to remain hot. So I'm a geophysicist by background. My partner is a reservoir engineer. We both worked previously at BHP Petroleum in Houston, Texas. I'm here in New York now. And I had a different company before, but I actually engaged Mr. Goldmark a few times, and we had some back and forth emails, and he convinced me to go green. So here I am. What I've done so far is this year, I realized, as you said in the lecture earlier today, all the potential with the government. So I've written to the DOE. They have ARPA-E grant as well as a SBIR grant. So I applied to those. I should find out in May and June if we get that. And also yesterday, the National Science Foundation pre-approved us to apply for their grant. And the University of Louisiana, the director of the Geologic Survey there, wants to work with us. Also, the Columbia has an NYS ERDA program, and I interviewed with them about a week or two ago, and hopefully get accepted into their program. But we need a couple $100,000 to buy data and the software to, what we want to do is get rock properties where the hottest rocks are and the rocks with the most fluid flow. And then that will tell us
10 seconds, Eric.
A risk map of the best acreage to go to. So then we can focus our AOI on the best area. So now if you have any questions.
Great. Thank you so much. Nice job. If we want to start with Peter, do you have any questions for Eric? We could start with you.
Eric, good to see you again.
No.
This is really a comment-question, and I'll just pose it very quickly. I think on that kind of, what you're doing is fairly complicated. I think it's good to early on say where you're going to end, which is with the end of the source of the hot water coming up and your ability to distribute it, and that so that when they're listening to a thing, something they don't know a lot about, they know where they're going to end up and they can fit the pieces better. Okay. You know so much you don't need it. That's just one thought.
Okay, that's good to know.
Let's go to other people.
Sounds good. Brittany or Meredith, feel free to jump in with some questions.
Sure. So Eric, thanks for sharing. This is awesome. How do you plan, so the different types of partnerships that would be needed to either offtake the energy or to find the sources for these geothermal energy wells, I guess, if that's the right term. I don't know very much about this space. How do you plan on going about establishing those partnerships?
Okay, so yeah, what we're gonna do is what we've done before in this basin and published papers on before, is we're gonna evaluate it. And then the customer is gonna be local energy grid companies. So in Louisiana, it's I think it's called Intera Energy or something like that. And Texas has hundreds of electric companies. So it'll be local grid providers that would sync up to our geothermal wells at the location. Another thing you can do is electrolysis and convert it to hydrogen fuel. So, but that would require people familiar with that type of work. Maybe someone in the audience.
Great. And Meredith, if you want to do question and feedback, and just so we
Sure.
can.
Sure. I love that you're using trash from the oil industry. So good work there, obviously.
Yeah, recycling stuff that's going to be left there forever. All the steel
Yeah.
and concrete.
Reuse all the way. It's even higher in the hierarchy than recycling. So great work there. I was Peter said it much better, but I agree with what he said, kind of getting to the point first, so that when you're talking, people can be thinking about that. I didn't hear you talk about a business model. So that's a piece here of just like, and then Brittany's question, I think, led to it. The fact that you're going to like sell to these utility entities. So great. Question answered. But I think that's my point. And I'm still learning how to do this. Fewer words, more concise responses.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Eric. And thank you, panelists, for your questions and feedback. And now I'm going to pass it over to